let us begin. Last time, as our adventurers had joined one another, the trio from Orlustrin meeting up with one of their newfound, known, previous historical referenced companions by the name of Bren, all of you gathered yourselves up to go on a journey headed towards the Storm Song Mountains. To get to the Storm Song Mountains, though, you had to go through the Siltwood, a marsh-like forest, dense, almost jungle-like in some places, with many a mystery and danger alight amongst the trees and air of the place. You ventured in somewhat overwhelmed by the experience of it all, the power of the natural world in this place. But Bren knew that there was more to be wary of than just the natural. You also had to be wary of the dangers and the threats and the mystical. You were shortly after entering, just before setting up your first evening's camp, you were ambushed by a pair of drakes, dragon-esque beings known as ambush drakes that live within and hunt amongst the boughs of the Siltwood. These drakes were vicious to you, nearly tearing from an arm from its socket that had belonged to Bren, nearly taking down Mira in seemingly a single bite. The threat, though, was dispatched in the end, as you had no mercy for these ambush drakes. As they were attempting, well, one of them was attempting to flee, and the other began an almost rage-like assault upon Violet. You managed to fell the both of them. As you finally dispatched these two ambush drakes, gathered yourselves up, suffering your wounds a little bit, another interesting creature appeared, although only to Bren, as Bren had stalked off, dealing with perhaps some of the mental anguish and trauma of the ambush drake assault. He gathered himself to heal and was met surprisingly by a new companion, a pseudo-dragon, who you would later come to call Star, appeared to him and helped to mend his wounds, although not in the traditional way or the magical way, but some kind of a combination of both, seemingly forcing the body to heal itself rapidly over the course of just a few seconds. And before Bren could realistically make any kind of conversation or greet with the pseudo-dragon, they flew away. And then he rejoined you as you all gathered yourselves for camp. In the distance, you could hear other animals of the forest, most likely bears, seemingly fighting over the carcasses of the ambush drakes that you had left behind, but that was the least of your worries as you settled in for a night. Tending your wounds, physical and mental, you took in the forest for what it was now, your eyes open to the dangers of this journey that lie before you. And thankfully, your evening was relatively uneventful. As you awoke in the morning, a couple of you, Adie and Bren, seemingly had been somewhat troubled by some interesting dreams the night before. But regardless, you set out once again to traverse through the Siltwood, this time perhaps a little bit more cautious as you moved. And very shortly after setting out on your journey, the pseudo-dragon reappeared, to all of you this time. And through some interesting use of special abilities, you were able to find conversation of sorts with the pseudo-dragon. And it seemed as though they wanted to guide you safely through the forest. At least that is the feeling that you got from them. As your journey commenced, you found yourselves entering the heart of the Siltwood, a magical place to say the least. You stepped into a clearing of sorts, mostly at the center of this portion of the wood. And within that clearing, a giant, enormous, unfathomably large stump of a tree, apparently hollowed out at its core, giving off an ethereal, magical light before you. It was mind-boggling, to say the least, awe-inspiring to some. And as you could feel the power and the reverence of this place, Violet seemed troubled, seemed shaken by something, the dominating presence of something here, and experiencing what some might call a divine moment. She believed in that moment she had encountered a portion of the powerful ascendant known as Vimredale. Frustrated by that experience was not Violet, but rather Mira, who stormed off in response to such thing. And while Bren moved to perhaps console or confront or just ascertain Mira's state, Vi and 80 came to terms with what that meant. When the four of you rejoined, however, things got a little bit more interesting as a brilliant spectacle of light, prismatic in shade, erupted from within the open space of the tree stump before you and awashed the area in luminescent light. You all stood there in awe as Star bolted faster than you could fathom from the trees above into the light. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we begin. A lot of you have just witnessed Star, Mira, mid-breath, about to say something to 80 and Vi as Bren and as you and Bren are reapproaching the others. And you see all of you Star dart away rapidly. What would you all like to do? Don't all speak at once now.
Oh, holy shit.
Is it like a wall of light like that they darted into?
No, it's kind of like a burst of light that kind of permeated the vicinity, not blindingly so, just like a spectacle in a way. Like at a concert when the show is about to begin and there's that wash of all of the lights kind of flaring up that like introduce the crowd to whatever performers might be present. That's the kind of eruption of light that happens. It then fades. It's still present, but it fades nonetheless from what it was when it caught your attention, and most importantly seemed to catch Star's attention.
What the heck is that?
I don't know.
We should
approach it cautiously. Yeah.
Okay. Deb, I assume Mira is also following her companions into the light.
Reluctantly. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea.
Are you sure?
I'll grab your hand and drag you along.
As you approach this magical, enormous tree before you, you can already feel a palpable power within the air around you. You get within the shadows of the seemingly limb-style archways of the space. The colors awash in the space, kind of blinding you briefly for a moment as you step through an almost ethereal space and into a vast chamber underneath, within, inside. It's hard to know for sure. You don't know what just transpired, but you can feel it. You can feel something just shifted in this space as you step into it. The air itself seems to vibrate with power. The cavernous interior of this tree stump unfurls before you. The walls are aglow with a lavender and amethyst light that seems to gently flow like currents around you. The atmosphere is saturated with a sense of anticipation. The magic is so palpable that even those unattuned to the arcane can feel its weight upon their shoulders. And at the center of this sanctum, a conclave of gem-scaled wormlings is gathered around a cluster of rock, earth, and vegetation. Their scales reflect the light surrounding and give off a glow all their own. There is an amethyst wormling whose scales cast prismatic reflections that seem to dance across the chamber. Beside them, a sapphire wormling radiates a deep, calming blue light, almost like a crystalline lagoon that reflects everywhere. A ruby wormling, small creature, vibrant red, exudes a fiery grace. And in contrast, there's an emerald wormling with power like the serenity of a forest that seems to anchor everyone else. You see your friend, the pseudo-dragon you call Star, sat upon the floor of this chamber, the light of the room dancing across his scales. He presently has his head bowed low and wings draped wide upon the floor, a gesture of respect towards this conclave of gem wormlings. The dragons in turn seem to acknowledge the pseudo-dragon's presence with just the slightest, most subtle of nods, an unspoken acceptance, a silent communion of shared purpose. And as Star lifts his head, his keen eyes seem intent on capturing the unfolding ceremony. You can see a tension coil within his body, poised with attentive grace, and you quickly ascertain his purpose now: to bear witness to a profound moment of history being born in the heart of the Siltwood. Within the cluster of rocks at the center of the wormlings rests a crystalline object, closely shaped like that of an egg, and its vibrance is a marvel to behold. Its shell seems to reflect an iridescent array of colors, prismatic and possessing a palpable magic. A rhythmic pulsing of ethereal light is coming from within this large gem, but your attention is quickly drawn to a crack forming along the top of it. As a thin ribbon of prismatic light escapes through the crack, you see another, and then another, and then another. The shell begins to fracture, and each crack glows with pulsating energy, casting captivating beams of light across everyone and everything in its vicinity. Your breath seems to catch in your throat as the air itself shivers with power, every strand of magic in the room drawn towards the crystal as if summoned by an ancient command. The colors around the crystal seem to intensify as the essences of the wormlings watching over it become part of this array of light being emitted. Hues blend and shift in a slow and deliberate sequence, every moment building upon the last, the chamber resonating with the power that starts to almost sing in this space. With each passing second, the anticipation heightens. Very air you breathe is charged with expectancy, and almost forces you to focus on what you are witnessing. This is a moment of pure potential, and you can feel the significance of it. The power manifesting around you and the thoughts in your minds, whether chaotic or calm, bear the weight of staggering importance as to what is happening in front of you. Would any of you like to do anything in this moment?
I want to step closer. I like. Can I guess first and foremost, am I picking up any particular vibe from these wormlings?
Before we begin, it is worth mentioning, Andrew, you have gotten an advantage from our very own Ysterra Knight. Keep that in mind, as it may become relevant here in just a few moments. Why don't you give me an insight check for 80 with advantage because of the emotional awareness that she possesses.
Great. 21.
Nice. With a 21, I will say that you are feeling a sense of awe from your companions for sure, but also from the dragonlings. They feel their purpose in this space. They feel proud of what it is that they are witnessing and apparently what it is that they have to do. Star in particular, who is sitting quite distant from the rest of them, seemingly holding a stature of witness and not wanting to be too close, not wanting to intervene, kind of almost knowing his place, as it were, in this circumstance, holding a deference to all of the others, and they seem to respect. There's a sense of that respect from him. You also are picking up on a certain amount of distrust towards the lot of you, particularly from the Ruby Dragon. They seem to be mollified, though, in some way by Star, and you're not quite sure what any of that means. Like, this is mostly just picking up on the emotional states that you're reading. You've never seen a dragon before, so it's kind of hard to know for sure everything, but yeah, with a 21, I'll say that's what you get so far.
That's great. Thank you.
What about the rest of you?
I'd like to use my mind link again on all 4 of the dragons.
Okay. I'm assuming this requires them to be willing.
What
What are you doing?
No, they don't need to. They don't need to be willing. I just have to be able to see them within 20 feet of myself.
Well, you're much further than 20 feet at this point. I would say that you're like 50 plus feet away from them at this point. And what's Bren's passive insight?
16.
I would also say that Bren is self-aware enough to know. Hi. Yes. I would say that he's self-aware enough to know that getting closer would not necessarily be wise.
I still have my connection with Star, though.
If you want to have a connection with Star, sure.
Okay.
Star is within 20
And I would
feet of
assume
you.
that. I would assume I'm picking up all of those emotions that 80 picked up too, about them keeping their distance.
Yeah, I would say that your bond with Star through that mind link is also such that You can tell that he is singularly focused on his purpose, which is to bear witness to this event.
I guess I just want to convey to Star to tell their friends that we're also friends. We're not here to interrupt or cause any harm.
Your link with Star is not words, like sometimes you get when other things happen, or when you've used this on the handful of other beings that you've used this ability on. And so the emotional sense that you get from Star is wariness, but also completeness. And such that you think that that's probably what they did. That they did that already.
Or worry. I'm sorry.
Wary. Yeah.
In any feeling between Star and myself, do I feel like they're responsible for this? Like in a good way? Is Star the daddy?
No.
Okay.
You very much get the sense that Star has a purpose here, and that is to watch.
Got it. I kind of turn to the rest of the group and I go, it'd be best if we keep our distance and just allow them to do their thing. Looking at 80.
I sink back down onto my heels because I was ready.
You know what? In this moment too, I'm gonna sit next to Star and just sit there.
As you move closer to Star like swats their tail to the side and gives off a sense of warning.
Sorry, I will sit here, and I will sit where I am, because I want to seem non-threatening and non-interrupting as much as possible.
Right. Andrew, what is Violet doing in this circumstance?
Violet's just been through a lot in the last half hour, so I think she's just gonna collapse and pop a squat and just kind of witness whatever's happening. She's trying to just wrap her head around everything that's kind of happened to her in the last little bit.
And Mira?
Mira is gonna just sit next to 80 and kind of lean against her.
Okay. Beth, since you didn't get to do what you wanted to do, was there anything more from 80?
No, I will sit and be good.
Okay. Okay. As you all sit there, you're not entirely sure how much time goes by. You have lost all sense of time in this circumstance. And the expectation of everything kind of builds as each new crack forms in the crystalline egg before you. And then a single clawed hand begins to emerge from part of the fractured gemstone egg. The room's aura of tranquil magic, however, is shattered by a sudden intrusion. From the ether, ripples of energy in the air seem to tear open, oozing shadow and crackling with dark purple arcane energy. A bog hag, seemingly woven from the very fabric of the swamp, steps through with a presence that chills you to your bones. Her form, draped in the detritus of the bog, exudes malevolence. The dark sockets where her eyes should be seem as hungry as the void. Along with this creature, a number of boggles, misshapen creatures of dark gray skin and grotesquely oversized features spill out from the tears in reality that erupt around you. Each of these minions of the bog hag move with an unnatural agility, spreading out with a singular purpose as they engage each of the wormlings, adhering to them with some kind of shadowy ooze, rendering them motionless. The vibrant hues of their scales dim under the boggle's touch. The chamber, once a haven of wonder, now echoes with dark intent of the bog hag. Her gaze is fixed upon the pulsating gemstone, a rapacious desire emanating from her twisted form. You are all immediately filled with dread, the air itself recoiling from the corrupt magic that she wields. The peace and awe that once filled the room is now replaced with shock and awe as the bog hag looks towards the lot of you. Seemingly surprised at your presence, a cackle escapes from her lips. I thought I smelled outsiders. Tremble, fleshlings. I mean to claim this dragonling, and your souls will make a fitting first meal for my new pet. I need for all of you to roll initiative, please, and maybe open up the battle map as soon as I open it myself and load it up. We shall start with Mira. What did Mira get?
Natural 20 for a 22.
Oh, brr. That's
This might be the first time I didn't bomb an initiative roll.
Well, hey, double digits for you is not bombing. So the fact that you got over 20,
right.
I would say that's taking it to a whole new level, and probably good timing for it to be taken to a whole new level. So yeah. Then let us go to Vi. What did Vi get?
I got a 16.
There we go. Okay, so someone else got a 16, so I need to know what your dexterity score is, please. Or modifier,
3.
I guess, was where we start the tie break.
+3.
+3? All right, well, I'm going to bump you up to 17 then, because that shouldn't affect anything else. 80?
18.
Nice. And Bren?
19.
Wow. That's some fairly impressive initiatives there, folks. Good on you. All right. So, as we begin, you all were surprised by this. Basically, I narrated the effect of the surprise round where you couldn't really take actions and such, as the boggles went in and attacked, and the hag kind of stepped over and did her little tiny tidbit of a monologue there. So Mira is first to act. At the start of your turn, I need for you to make, what is it? A wisdom saving throw, please.
$16.
Okay, you succeed. You feel the dark malevolence of the bog hag penetrate your very soul. So much so that just the sight of her is fear-inducing. You swallow that fear down, however, and yeah, you're able to kind of shake off that effect. What would you like to do?
I am going to cast Magic Missile, and I am going to cast it at the 3 closest boggles.
Okay.
And try to take them out.
All right. So you're talking about, you know, on our map anyway, you're talking about 1, 2, and 3, 2 being the one that's currently attached to the the little dragonling there. Great.
Yep.
All right.
The first one does 4 damage.
Okay.
Second one does 2 damage.
All right.
And the third one does 5 damage.
Okay. As you As you pop the magic missile from your fingers, what does it look like for Mira as she lets these loose?
It's really the same as it was when we were fighting the ambush drakes. She does a little Spider-Man sort of move with her wrist, and a just jet of light shoots out from her hand, and kind of one in a row. 1, 2, 3 hits
All
these 3 little boggles.
Okay. As these beams kind of crisscross and strike into the 3 boggles, you can see the impact of it upon their forms, and it does injure them. Just, doesn't do enough to seemingly phase them overly much. Would you like to do anything else on your turn?
If Star will let me, I would like to move up just a little bit.
Star is not stopping you.
Great.
Yeah. Great. So you move up. It is now Boggle's turns, actually, because they got a dirty 20 on their initiative. So the one that is attached to the Dragonling does not take any actions. However, the other 2 do. This Boggle number 2 kind of steps forward a little bit. And let me draw this. I'll do it. Yeah, that's a color. Oops. Gotta delete that second one there. Delete. Get the most of you in it. So this second boggle kind of steps forward, and you see its large, kind of bulbous face. Christian, zoom in on one of those boggles so people can see what they look like. You see its kind of bulbous face almost like start to regurgitate a little bit. It's like, and it's like jaw kind of extends bulbously, and then it opens its mouth and just vomits this spray of dark ooze across the floor underneath of Mira and Bren and Star. It is a slippery, viscous substance that just kind of awashes the floor in that area. Let's see. Doesn't have any effect on you at the moment, but at the start of your turn, it might. And then this other boggle, he runs and leaps into one of these tears in the space and seems to vanish, and then immediately appears behind 80 and attacks.
Cool.
His very meaty, little grotesque, oil-covered fists slam into 80 for a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Doing 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And as this meaty fist kind of slaps across 80's shoulder, a spray of sticky, viscous ooze kind of washes over her. Doesn't seem to do anything right now, but it's pretty friggin' gross. And then that brings us to Bren. Bren, at the start of your turn, could you please make a dexterity saving throw?
All right. Great. That's a 4.
You fall prone at the start of your turn. The slippery, viscous ooze at your feet kind of just, your feet go out from underneath of you. As you turn your head really quick and see 80 being attacked by one of these boggles, and that movement just kind of causes you to lose your feet and you fall prone. You can stand back up, but of course it'll cost you half of your movement. And just so you know, you are currently standing in difficult terrain.
Cool. I am going to use half my movement to get up.
Good call.
And then I'm a little pissed at that boggle. We're gonna start with this. I'm gonna shoot a guiding bolt to boggle number 3,
Okay.
just to kind of kick us off. It's a 12 to hit.
As you aim your guiding bolt, the boggle, having looked in that direction, the magic, wanting to know where the magic missile came from, kind of looks that way and sneers at you. This kind of like opens its mouth. You see a couple of like rotting teeth within its mouth. Like one of them has a hole in it that you think you see something wiggling through. And you let loose your guiding bolt. And then at the last second, just as the guiding bolt is about to hit, it averts itself and puts the dragonling in the way of the guiding bolt, and it slams into the dragonling. Please roll damage as you hit the dragonling with the guiding bolt.
I refuse.
No, you got to roll damage.
And that's 14 points.
14? Oh, that's a 1. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay. 14 points of damage on the sapphire dragonling.
Bonus action healing word to that dragon.
Okay.
It's like, sorry. Oh, damn. Here. It's just.
No problem. Just for everyone who's watching at home, I have a house rule instead of like the normal rule for casting multiple spells in a turn is you can cast one leveled spell and then cantrips. I have changed that to as long as one of your spells as long as only one of your spells is above level 2, you can cast additional spells. So that is why Bran is able to get away with doing a healing word and a guiding bolt in the same turn. How much did you heal him by?
4 points.
Okay, great.
And then, so I
still have some movement left. Yep.
Yeah, I want to use my movement to get out of this area.
Do you? So I would say that you could get up the stairs, or you could get back to the boggle that is attacking 80. Which would you rather do?
I'm going to go up the stairs.
Oh, I'm sorry. At the start of your turn, you were supposed to make a wisdom saving throw because of the hag.
Well, that's fine. I have advantage. It was 18. Do I need to roll again?
No, you do not. Why was it an advantage?
I have advantage on wisdom saves.
Oh, okay. Just all wisdom saves?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. You can feel the fear of that, of the bog hag kind of trying to force its way into your mind, but you shake your head, having had to deal with horrific beings before. Yeah, you're used to it. So would you like to move your way up the stairs or move back towards the boggle attacking 80?
I'm going to go up the stairs. So
okay.
15 gets me right there.
Well, you were in difficult terrain at the start, so I'm going to just move you back to right there towards the edge of it. I'll say that because you're up on the ledge there, you don't have to worry about the slippery ooze on the floor. Raven Sarah Knight, our Canuck cleric, coming in hot with the biddies. Thank you so much, Raven. Everyone has an advantage.
Yeah,
thank you.
We're gonna need it until we level up a little bit.
I mean, you're gonna need it then too, but that's for next game, Bren, to worry about. That brings us to 80. 80, please make a wisdom saving throw, if you will. For what it's worth, this is versus fear. If you have any kind of special ability or effect or anything like that could help you against becoming frightened.
What if I just say I'm cool and I don't really get scared?
What'd you roll?
Just kidding. 16.
Okay, you are cool, and you didn't
Hey.
get scared. You can feel the fear from the fear aura from this bog hag, but right now you're very much focused on the grotesque boggle that is smacking the crap out of you. What would you like to do?
What would it take for me to try to wipe off whatever goo has been sprayed on me?
You've only been hit once, so I'll let you
Yeah.
do that as a bonus action at this point.
Yeah, bonus action. Get rid of some of that.
As
and then-
Dungeon Mr. Ty points out in the chat, cool people get scared too, Beth. Cool people get scared too.
I know.
Hey, Ty, welcome in.
Okay, so I'm going to. I'm looking at this guy already, I presume, and I'm just going to take out my dagger and try to give him a little poke.
Okay. Because it's always amazing when the sorcerer does melee attacks with a dagger.
Listen, he's right there in front of me. I'm making choices. 21 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Suck it. 3 points of damage.
Great. That adds to the 4 points of damage that your sister did. She
Hey,
beat you, by the
thanks.
way. She did more than you.
I know. She usually does. And then I'm going to choose to move away. I know that that's, complicated, but I think I'd like to... No, fuck it. I'll stay there. I'm good.
Okay. That brings us to Violet. Please make a saving throw versus Frightened.
It's a 14.
You succeed.
Oh, thank
You
God.
also manage to avoid the fearsome nature of this bog hag. Just so you guys know, that was pretty critical in this fight.
Everything
would be
feels
a lot-
critical.
Things would be a lot worse if
I'm
any
so
of you had
stressed out.
failed that save.
I'm already so stressed out. You don't need to tell me that.
What would you like to do, Andrew?
I'd like to pull my short bow out and shoot at the boggle that's beside 80.
Okay, go for it.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Boo.
$16 to hit.
That hits.
Hey. Sneak attack.
Yeah.
It's 8 plus 4. So 12 points of damage.
Nice. What does it look like as your arrow ends the horrific life of this creature?
Is it I kind of want to get it square in that big gross mouth, just right in the back of the throat.
Great. It's not looking at you. You just, send that, but it's, small. And so your arrow just kind of punches through the side of its jowl. There's almost this explosion of pus and ooze as the arrow tip comes out the other side. I need for you to make a dexterity saving throw, please, 80.
Okay. Cool. 21.
Okay. You manage to avoid getting completely and utterly covered by gross boggle bits and the spray of this caustic ooze that comes from their body with surprising alacrity. Would you like to do anything else, Vi?
I'd like to just make my way towards the stairs, avoiding the slippery goo, if possible.
You'll have to move around it, so count it out.
So 20 feet here. And then
You could basically get to the bottom of the stairs just at the edge of the puddle of ooze if you wanted to avoid it.
There.
Right? Because you have a movement of 30.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that it on your turn?
That's it.
Okay. It is now the bog hag's turn. So let's see here. I have an array of things to do at the start of, well, oh yeah, it is in effect at the start of its turn. So let's see, who all is within 30 feet? Think Vi and
I am.
oh, Mira is just within 30 feet. Vi just manages to be at the edge of it. So the pseudo dragon, Bren, and Mira, you guys need to each make wisdom saving throws, please. Hey, I saw a natural 20 there from somebody.
That was me.
I got
And
a
what did-
14.
14 succeeds. Natural 20 also very obviously succeeds. You feel within inside of you that fear kind of bubble and surge. You manage to avoid being frightened by it, but you do take, this is cut in half, so you do take 3 points of psychic damage.
Resistant.
Okay, you take 1 point of psychic damage. But that was at the start of her turn. So then she doesn't have to move, so she's not going to move yet. Well, you know what? She will actually move. She doesn't care. She steps over to here to kind of get in between you and the crystal egg that she seeks. And she looks at Mira and she says, I can do that too, you know. And she unleashes a level 3 magic missile at Mira. Got any reactions or anything
3.
for that?
Nope. For sure, I do not.
You don't have the shield spell?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
Wait a
let's see.
minute. Hold on.
Oh,
Can I silvery barbs that?
There's no attack roll for magic missile.
Fucking balls, Miko.
Yeah, it just does it. It just does it.
Fine, I do nothing.
But now we know we have that in our arsenal.
So that's going to be 5d4.
Oh, jeez.
Plus 5 for 17 points of damage.
I'm out.
As this bog hag lifts up her hands, cackling with glee, you see this malevolent, shadowy energy kind of form between her fingers as they just roil in the space, the moss and vines and just grotesqueness that's kind of falling off of her. And she smiles broadly as 5 bursts of these shadowy motes erupt from her fingertips, fly across the space, and knock Mira to the ground, slamming into her one after the other after the other. Mira is unconscious. That brings us to Star's turn. So Star seems to almost roar, or at least tries to roar. Star's tiny. I mean, small. It's not the most fearsome of roars, but there is a definite anger and intent behind it. They have to do a dexterity save, which they're actually pretty good at. Oh no, that's a natural 2. Unfortunately, Star slips as he roars, kind of slamming into this puddle, becomes prone, but then uses his wings and alights, still plenty of movement because he has really good fly speed, and flies towards the bog hag, attempting to strike her with his tail. that unfortunately will miss. The bog hag practiced against such creatures as pseudo dragons, having fought many of them within the Silkwood, deftly avoids its tail strike. And that brings us back to the top of the round. Mira, you need to make a death save.
$11.
So Raven just dropped another set of bits for another point of advantage for each of you.
Thank you.
Just to also remind not only all of the people gathered, but also our players, death saves are a big deal in my game, because the moment you fail one death save, you remain unconscious even if you are healed, unless you are healed by someone that specializes in such things using an extreme special ability like lay on hands or the healing light of a life cleric, that sort of thing. So you need to not fail one, or you will remain unconscious throughout the fight. Anyway, that is one successful death save for you. It is now back to the Boggle's turn. So the one that died, of course, doesn't get to do anything. However, the other one, completely and utterly angered by the death of its companion, will leap back into this tear in space and then instantly appear next to 80. Or no, Vi. I'm sorry, next to Vi. Vi was the one that got the killing blow on its friend. So appears next to Vi. Vi, let's see. Yeah, I think he's just gonna smack you. Big meaty fist. It's only a 13. I think that misses you. Yep.
Yeah, misses.
So as the Boggle just kind of appears in the space next to you, Vi, and swings up its grotesque bulbous little paws at your face, you duck back and forth out of the way of each of its grubby little hands. Bren, it is your turn.
Cool. You guys are killing me. Okay. Healing word to.
Looks like we also have a advantage from Scottish Jeff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Think based on my notes, it's going to Beth, and then another one to anyone. Yeah, cool. One for Beth, and then one for whoever needs it. So.
Could be any of us.
Could be any of you. Ian, I'm assuming you're doing a healing word there. That was what that D4 was?
Yeah, 5 points to Mira.
So Mira's eyes flutter open as she feels this life-giving energy kind of flow within her, taking a deep breath. She's laying in a pool of this grotesque, viscous ooze, though. So I don't know how good she feels from that, but...
Perfect. And then, no, I gotta save that. I'm gonna use my movement to get all up in this bog hag's business.
Okay.
And then we're gonna hit her with that primal savagery.
All right.
Fuck her up, man.
Maybe something good, Lord. I'm gonna use my advantage.
Okay.
This is a 13 to hit.
Misses. You almost see her leaning into you as you leap forward, your feral form kind of surging with the magic of your ferocity. As you strike out with savagery at her, she almost leans forward into it, but then at the last second just tilts her head to the side, seeming to toy with you.
I do not like this. I'm just going to stand there in front of her menacingly.
Menacing away. 80, you are up.
Hell yeah, I am. Okay. Remind me, this circle of goo is damaging or just gross?
It's just gross. It doesn't seem to
Just
be
gross.
causing injury.
Great. It's difficult terrain though, right?
It is difficult terrain, and
Okay.
you did see Bren slip and fall on his arse, standing in it.
Balls. Okay. Also, additional question. From down here, like how high up is that? / can I see what's going on that second level?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's just a few steps up. It's
Okay.
not any tremendous ledge or anything like that.
All right. So I'm gonna skirt around this nastiness. So 15 feet gets me there, and I'll
Mhm.
use the rest of my movement to come here. And then I'd really, really love to let my unpracticed magic explode from me again like it did last time. And I'm going to cast Chromatic Orb.
At
And I'm going to use my advantage.
who are you casting at?
The hag!
Okay, just making sure. There's multiple targets here.
Fucking balls! Okay, well, that's a 13. Can I use another advantage? Can we just keep this gravy
Sure.
train rolling?
You can
I've got a few.
Burn them all.
Fuck yeah. All right. Thanks, you guys. Awesome. Okay, 21 to hit.
Okay, so if you could please describe this surge of energy that comes from 80, and also if you could include in your description the necklace that she wears.
Yeah, totally. So you'll see 80 running over, kind of tries to step somewhat protectively near her sister. And as she's going, her hands start to glow, kind of like they did last time. But glowing brighter than that is a necklace that you can see sort of hanging out over her cloak. And it's just a very basic chain, and it's got a like pretty large, unrefined stone that's sort of held there, and that sort of glows with sort of like color changing lights. And from my hands, this time comes just pure electricity, and I will use lightning damage against this bish.
All right, go ahead and roll that damage. Mira, as you become like feeling the healing energies that came from Bren, kind of come to consciousness just in time to see 80 kind of rushing around, avoiding the pool of goo that that Mira is laying in, and then standing over Mira protectively. You look up and see your grandmother's necklace hanging from the chain, which you've seen her wear before, but this time aglow with magic. How much damage did you?
17 points of lightning
Nice.
damage. Yeah.
Very nice. As this lightning damage slams into the bog hag, her face quickly darts in your direction. The hollowed out sockets where her eyes should be just kind of piercing into you, causing a shiver up your spine as you hear her shrill cry of pain as the lightning kind of arcs through her. You can see her body kind of twitch and writhe a little bit from it.
Good.
Would you like to do anything else?
No, that's it for me. Thank you.
Excellent. Violet, you have a boggle. He's not a very nice
yeah.
boggle. Would you like to do something about said boggle?
I'm going to disengage from the boggle, or bonus action disengage,
Nice.
and run away.
Okay.
No, run up
You
the
do
stairs.
that. All right.
Probably go around here, and then take a shot at the hag as well, since everybody
Go
seems
for
to
it.
be going for it. It's a 15 to hit, and I'm debating using the advantage or not. I might as well.
Great. What'd you get?
I'm just waiting.
I saw a whole bunch of d20s roll across the screen.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. I didn't see what they were, though.
22 to hit.
So weird. They were all 20s.
It was a 22 to hit, I think.
22 does hit. Go ahead and roll some damage.
Oh my god. That is 5 plus 1. 6 points of damage.
That was including your dex mod?
Oh, plus 3. Yeah. Oh my god.
So 9.
9.
All right. So as your arrow pierces into the side of the bog hag, you see her like reach up and clutch onto her shoulder and just kind of tear the arrow out. You can see her almost like heaving heavily with these strikes that are coming into her. Would you like to do anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. At the start of her turn, all of you are now within 30 feet. So I need all of you to please make wisdom saving throws.
Guys, thanks for the advantages. So much.
And I'll just clue you guys in. The reason that it was very important that you not be frightened by her is because instead of just taking some psychic damage from this ability, you would have instead been dropped to 0 hit points if you failed this saving throw and were frightened.
Like every time or just the first time?
Every time.
Well, shit.
Until you were no longer frightened of her. Kitty cat. Did
Monster,
anyone get
shut
less
up.
than 12?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I'm using my last advantage. Natural 20. Okay.
There we go.
Woo,
Wait,
thanks, guys.
The rest of us just had one, right? Did I have another right?
No.
You should have had total of 2 from
Two.
Raven, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that advantage right now. I'm not trying to drop to 0.
Well,
Raven, you're the wind
you're
beneath
not
our
frightened
wings.
of her, so you're not going to just drop to 0. This just is based on your psychic damage you're going to take,
Oh,
which you have
okay.
resistance to psychic damage, so you may not want
Yeah.
to do that.
So yeah, no, I got a 10.
Okay. What did Vi get?
I got an 8.
Are you using an advantage or are you staying with it?
I've used both of them.
Oh, nice. So you're out?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. What about Mira?
Mira got a 16.
Okay, Mira succeeded. Who all has advantages at this point?
Mira has like 2 or 3. I haven't used any of mine yet.
Then you have 2.
Do they count from last session too? If we had them stockpiled?
No.
No, okay, then I'm out.
Okay, Ian, you have 1 left? All right. Just making sure I have a sense of where folks are at. So, those of you that failed are now frightened of her and take 4 points of psychic damage. If you succeeded, you are not frightened of her and you take 2 points of psychic damage. Bren obviously takes 1 point of psychic damage because of the thing. You can make another save at the end of your turn to shake off the frightened condition. And then she is going to unleash a vicious claw attack, 2 of them, in fact, one upon Bren and one upon Star. The one on Bren is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
That is 6 points of slashing damage and 2 points of acid damage. As her claw rakes across your body, you can feel this horrifying ooze-like substance mixed in with her claws that just tears at your clothes and flesh. The one on Star, that's a 15, which does hit. Star.
Level 2 sucks.
Truth. Absolutely.
Star takes 9 points of total damage.
Buddy.
Miko,
My boy.
our son.
I don't know where you guys got that from, but yeah, so as the claw rakes across Star's body, tears a huge gash across his throat and chest. He is actively bleeding at this point, or would be bleeding if the acid didn't like cauterize the wound a little bit, but it still looks horrific across his body. It is now his turn. He disengages and flees from the bog hag because he is frightened and wants to get the fuck out of here. You can see that he is like wincing from the pain and barely able to keep himself aloft. It is now Mira's turn. You need to make, well, you're already prone, I guess, so you don't need to make a dex save because you're already prone.
I've been prone for a while.
You have.
I guess I'm gonna get up and move out of this puddle of goo.
Okay.
How tall is this ledge?
You can see up and see everything. It's
Okay.
fine.
It was 15 feet to get up. Can I get to here?
You could get to there and just be peering over the edge. You are dangerously close to that other boggle if it were to somehow disengage from
I
the
understand.
dragonling. Okay.
But I'm gonna aim at that boggle and bust
The
out
boggle
some-
that's holding the dragonling?
Yeah.
Okay.
And bust out some magic that I definitely did not learn in school.
Mhm.
And it needs to make a con 14 save.
Versus what?
Poison spray is what I'm casting.
Will that also hit the dragon?
It's a 10-foot range.
He's technically in this, like, grappled in the same space as the dragon.
I'm willing to risk it.
Okay. They both need to make saves. The boggle,
Dragons have great constitution. Come on.
the boggle gets a 16.
Fuck.
Don't
Oh,
do
wait.
it, Miko.
Oh yeah, no, that was the boggle. Boggle gets a 16. The dragon gets a 21.
Well, I guess that's my turn.
Bonus action.
Nope.
Okay. You're not frightened, so at the end of your turn, you don't have to resave versus the fear. This boggle, singularly minded, scampers up the same path that Vi took and goes over to Vi and attempts to attack Vi. That is a 15 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
All right. Why can I not click that? Come on. There we go. That is 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And you are splattered with a small amount of this caustic, sticky ooze from its bulbous, grotesque hands. And that's it for the boggles. So it's Bren's turn.
Okay. All right. I'm slightly frightened by this hag,
Mhm.
but I still want to get up all in their business. So
If
Gonna
you
hit
do
it
any
with another
attacks
primal
against it, you have to roll at disadvantage because of your fear.
that's not fair. All right. Screw it. Yeah, I'm gonna hit her with the primal savagery. We gotta get this hag down. So
Okay. What kind of damage does primal savagery do?
1d10.
You can ignore that roll because I'm going to say you didn't roll it. What kind of damage does it do?
Oh, it's poison damage.
It's poison, not acid?
Yeah, 1d10. Let me confirm. Sorry, I didn't mean to roll that.
You said acid last time. I think.
Corrosive. Yeah, it's a corrosive attack, so acid. That's correct.
Okay. It is fairly safe to say at this point that Bren knows very well that this creature is acidic in nature.
Damn, like, I mean, I got. You know what? I'm just gonna hit it with my quarterstaff. We're just gonna go full on because mollywop on this.
Raven Sarah Knight once again saving all of you. More bits. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Raven. An advantage for all of you.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to use one of my advantage to be able to straight roll this. Is that okay?
I mean, you could roll and then decide after your roll if you want to use an advantage. So,
but it's still a disadvantage in this go round, yeah.
Yes. First die is at disadvantage.
It's a 10.
Okay.
I know that doesn't hit.
Yep. That's correct.
No. Yeah, I'd like to roll again. I'm going to use one of my advantages.
Go for it. Use an advantage. That's what they're here for. That's what Raven's trying to save you with.
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. I'm not having a good day. It's a 12.
12 misses. Bonus action?
Not that I can do safely. They're all ranged. Well, jeez. Even if I move, I'll take. You know what? No, I'm staying right here. We're
all right.
We're vibing.
Are you healing yourself? It's a bonus action to drink a potion if you have one.
I didn't get a potion.
No, we didn't stop at the store.
We decided to get a potion.
Healing then? Healing magic?
Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna healing word myself.
Go for it.
Cool. Max 6 points. Beautiful.
Nice.
And, that's me. Unfortunately.
Okay. End of your turn. You can make another wisdom saving throw versus fear to try to shake off your frightened condition.
I think I have advantage.
You have one advantage.
No, I just have advantage in general. I'm still afraid. All of them were bad.
Did you use the last advantage from Raven that you just got?
I'd like to use that. Okay. Screw it. Okay, fine. Come on. 19.
Okay. You shake off the fear just as the hag starts to look in your direction. 80, would you like to take a turn?
I'd like to flip.
I
that
would very
hag
much
bird.
like to take a turn. Thank you for
Okay.
asking.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna back up just a little bit. Say maybe to hear sincere apologies to all of my friends. But you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And the necklace that I'm wearing never stopped glowing. It's still glowing, and I'm feeling the absolute worst vibes from this hag and everyone's stress and fear. And so I just kind of explode again. And I'm going to do another chromatic orb.
Bread and
And I'm
butter
going
at
to
this
use
point.
my advantage.
Okay.
All right. 16?
16 hits.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Raven Sarah, for saving our lives. And once again, it's just this crackling electricity that comes through for 15 points of damage.
Nice. She's looking pretty rough at this point, just FYI.
Love that for her.
It was lightning damage again?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
it was.
As you unleash this power, it feels I think this amount of damage was less than your last roll, or was it more?
Yeah, just a little less.
So it feels a little bit harder to channel it, but you almost will it into existence. You can kind of feel the chaos you feel yourself kind of getting control of the chaos now that is the power of this magic. and manage to channel it enough that it does arc through and slam into this beast.
I'm gonna.
Christian, I think you need to refresh Owlbear because there's some movement that has happened on the map that's not. Oh, there we go. Now it caught up.
I'm going to use my bonus action to convert my meager sorcery points into another spell slot.
Okay.
Because we need it.
You might.
Yeah. And that's my turn.
Okay. You're not frightened, right? So you don't need to make
No.
Okay, cool. That brings us to Violet.
Violet's scared. I think Violet will just pull out her rapier and try to stab the boggle in front of her.
Okay, go for it.
Oh god. I'm gonna use my advantage.
How many do you have? I know you've gotten a couple of individual ones, so I think you have more than one, right?
I think I have 2.
Okay.
$16 to hit.
16 hits.
Oh, thank God.
What was the random 2d20 that you just rolled?
D-Dice is being weird. I don't know what's going on. I'll just roll it again.
Okay.
Nine points of damage.
Nice.
Plus- Is that with my modifier? I can't tell. 9 plus.
Well, it has to be because you rolled a d8, so.
Yeah, it's 6 plus
Yeah.
3.
There we go.
Yeah, you slash across this boggle's body. A spray of ooze erupts from it. You need to make a dexterity saving throw.
$21.
Yeah, you do manage to avoid the spray in your face. You don't get any more of the caustic ooze upon it. It looks severely injured at this point. Would you like to do anything else?
I don't think so. Oh, yeah. Do I have to do my wisdom save?
Yeah, wisdom save at the end of your turn.
It's a 7.
Gonna use that advantage.
No, I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket.
Okay. Alrighty then. It is now the bog hag's turn. Everyone within 30 feet. 80 moved away, so I think she is. Oh wait, she might still be within 30 feet. Yeah. All 4 of you, please, need to make wisdom saving throws versus being frightened.
This is the only thing I'm good at. I got an 18.
Same. 24. Jeez.
Natural 20.
23.
Nice.
There
Ian.
goes my one nat 20 for tonight.
You rolled another one earlier. Don't give me that.
I'd like to roll one on a hit.
What'd you get there, Violet? Andrew?
17.
Okay. You all do manage to successfully save versus the fear. I'm not rolling 3d6. I'm trying to not do that. That would be bad. So since you succeeded, you each take 2 points of psychic damage. Ian, Bren only takes 1 because he's resistant. As you all feel the fear kind of wafting off of this bog hag across all of you. It is still her turn because that was the start of her turn. She is going to... Let's see. She's not feeling that great. I think she wants to try to deal with Bren. She is going to attack you, Bren. First attack
Sure.
is a 9.
Miss. Thank God.
Second attack is an 18
Yeah.
For-
it's-
5 points of slashing damage and 6 points of acid damage.
We're here.
You still here?
We're here. We're thriving. We're here.
Okay. As she rakes her claws, Bren manages to duck out of the way of one, but then finds the other one just slicing across his shoulder that had been injured the previous day. Half of his shirt is basically like gone at this point between the shredding of the claw and the acid that is kind of splashing all over him from her claws. How's Bren feeling?
Very bad. Very bad.
Okay.
Woo! D&D.
80, given your proximity, now that Star is more than 30 feet away, Star kind of stops and you can see him like land on the ground and huddle his wings around him, and you see this small glow of energy kind of under his wings, like peering through the semi-translucent parts of his wings, the membranes that are that make up the majority of his wing, and you can see some of the physical injury that is visible to you when he's in this state seems to kind of be like forcibly knitting itself up.
Cool.
And that brings us back to the top of the round for Mira.
With the last tiny bit of strength that Mira has, she is gonna cast Magic Missile at the bog hag and just pew 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 all three.
Let's fucking go.
Get him!
That is a 4.
Please.
4 damage.
Please.
Hang on a second. I need to just check something. Keep adding your damage. I'm just
Plus
checking
2
something.
more damage. Plus 3 more damage. So 9.
All right. She's still up.
Well, I'm gonna move like as far back as I can.
Yeah, you should get more than 30 feet away.
Yeah.
So yes, as Mira kind of Spider-Man hand flings these darts of arcane light across the space, they slam into the hag, and she recoils from it. Bren, at this point, you can see her not only heaving, but also like breathing, like she's actually taking in gulps of air at this point, and she's looking around wildly. You can only imagine that if she actually had eyes in those sockets, that they would be almost fearful. Like you've seen this kind of physical behavior in animals before as they are fighting their flight response.
Yeah, the both of us are standing there doing the same thing, just kind of, all right. It's just...
It is now the Boggle's turn that is attacking Vi. It's going to attempt to attack her again. That's a 4. Natural 4 on the die. It's going to miss as Vi desperately is trying to avoid the meaty fists of this Boggle creature. It attacks, and you know what? He's pretty injured. He missed. He sees the situation. I'm going to give him a wisdom saving throw to see if he will flee. He flees from Vi. He attempts to get out through that portal, that tear in the fabric of reality next to you. You can take an opportunity attack if you like.
Absolutely, I will.
Okay.
24 to hit.
Damn.
Can I get some of that? Jeez.
8 points of damage.
You cut this fleeing beast down as it's like you basically hack off its head, and its head goes through the tear in reality next to you, while its body kind of sloughs across the ground. You do need to make a dexterity saving throw, though, as the viscous oil of it explodes. Caustic oil. Sorry, the caustic oil of it explodes.
I should be good at that.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, no. I got a 9.
Do you have an advantage, or are you out?
I have one, but I'm not going to use it. I gotta save it.
Okay.
I feel like I gotta save it.
All right. So, as it explodes, the caustic acid oily substance that was already on your body mixes with this spray of guts and caustic oil from the body of the creature that you slew. You take 10 points of acid damage.
I'm down.
Okay. 5 falls. Unconscious on the ground. Pretty far distant from the rest of you. That brings us back to the bog hag. Thankfully, Andrew, because Vi is unconscious, she doesn't have to make a save versus the bog hag's aura of fear. However, 80 and Bren do.
$18.
Wisdom save, Bren.
21.
Okay.
DD dice is just taking forever. Sorry.
That is... I rolled a 2. Cut in half is 1 for successfully saving. Resistance minimum is 1. So you each take 1 point of psychic damage. She is going to disengage from Bren.
Chicken.
She takes the disengage action and flees.
Where you going? We just started having a good time.
Are you attempting to persuade her to stay?
I mean, if she doesn't want to, I'm not going to force anybody to do anything that I want to do.
Okay.
Oh, God damn it.
She moves across the space. You can see her limping with every step that she takes, and she leaps through one of these tears and disappears through it and does not reappear. As she does so, the rest of the boggles kind of look around and are like, uh-oh. And you see them slowly starting to like unstick themselves from the dragonlings. 80, or Mira, I'm sorry, is standing next to Star. Star kind of unfurls their wings, and you can see that most of their injury has been healed up, though not all of it, and looks up at you, Mira, and reaches out one clawed arm and places it on her foot, or on Mira's foot. And Mira heals 5 health as she feels this surge of what she somehow instinctively knows to be draconic magic that forces her body through a healing process and feels the pain and agony of every stitching of wound that occurs. but she is healed nonetheless. And that brings us back to Mira's turn. Now, I'll let you guys know this at this point. The Boggles are fleeing. Is anyone going to attempt to stop them from fleeing?
I don't think we are collectively.
Beth is
As
like
the voice of the group.
I would love to, except we've already hurt 2 of the dragons, I think. So I'd rather just let them shoo away.
Okay. So in that case, then, Andrew, I need for Violet to please roll a. Because I have a question for you, Ian. Do you have any healing magic left, or spare the dying, or anything like that?
I do.
Okay. Andrew, go ahead and roll 1 death saving throw for Vi, because I'm going to assume that it will be 1 that you have to roll before Bren can get over to you to heal. So
It's a 10.
10 is a success. So, as the aura of combat kind of fades from this experience, the Boggles fleeing through these shadowy, illusory tears in the fabric of the space around you. The ooze that is on the floor slowly dribbles down across the space and off of the ledge that it is on. You all gather yourselves up. The dragonlings slowly start to come out of the paralyzing stupor as the ooze that was on them shakes and falls from their bodies, no longer being held in place by the Boggles. You cast a little bit of healing magic in order to bring Vi back to consciousness. The rest of you, what would you like to do? Or is there anything of note that you would like to do in this aftermath?
There's dragons that are hurt too, right?
The Sapphire Dragonling is injured primarily from the guiding bolt that you slammed it with.
Right. Perfect. So with my healing, I'm able to take my starry form in the form of the chalice. So you'll see Bren's eyes, they go from purple to kind of like this yellowish. And
Can you speak up for me, Ian? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Sorry, yeah. So I can take my starry form into the chalice for healing to add an additional D8 to anyone. Well, actually, to everyone within 30 feet of me.
Oh. Does that work on short rests or just period? It's like a burst of healing.
Well, I mean, I haven't used it because I have to burn a wild shape to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like a burst of healing around you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
don't worry about the numbers at this point. I'm not so vicious that I'm going to be assaulting all of you again before you get a chance to take some rests. But all of you kind of gather up. Can you then please, Ian, explain what this is like as Bren gathers everyone up, like goes over to Vi, kind of cradles her in his arms and gestures for everyone else to gather around him as he does this?
So the only thing visual that everyone sees is that Bren's eyes kind of glint with yellow. They don't turn yellow. It's kind of like that anime, like real quick. But the most noticeable thing that everyone feels, and it is a feeling, is that it's like a very, very warm, heated blanket on a -20 day. Like everyone just feels very calm. It's like that first sip of tea when you just came out of a snowstorm. And it's comforting. And that's where the healing happens.
So as you all gather around and you can feel this kind of aura of healing kind of wafting off of Bren, Violet, you become conscious once again, looking up into this starry form of Bren's.
It's good.
Do the rest of you do or say anything?
Mira absolutely collapses to the ground and starts crying. She is having a very bad day.
I thought her bad day was yesterday.
This
We've
is
had
the
two
same
Same
day.
day.
Oh yes,
That was like 30 minutes ago.
Yes.
No, you guys took a long rest after
did
fighting
take a
those
rest.
dragons.
But it's
Okay.
probably within the same
Wow.
24
But then Mira
hours.
railed at the heavens, and like 10 minutes later, we walked into this fucking tree that I said was a bad idea, friends.
Oh no. Okay. I will go kneel next to my sister and just sort of be there.
And what does Violet say or do as she comes to consciousness, seeing Bren and feeling the healing energies wafting over her?
Violet just kind of sits up. It kind of just sits, and after the last about hour that she's had, she just has like 1,000-yard stare trying to just contemplate all of her decisions in the last like 3 days, and is just not there, almost dissociating, just trying to figure out what's going on and what she's doing with her life.
I think Bren notices that too, like that stare in the eye, and like immediately just engulfs Vi, just like.
And yeah, she just breaks down, and then you can hear her like, or feel her kind of shiver and gasp for air.
What is 80's passive perception?
15.
Okay. As everyone is kind of huddled up at this point, feeling the ill effects of the encounter that they just had, 80 leaning against Mira, trying to give her her own strength at this point. 80, you can feel the emotions of your companions very, very forcibly. And it is almost debilitating for you in a way, because you feel that sorrow, you feel that torment, you feel that anguish, you feel that pain from each of them. And then you start to feel something else that supplants that. There's another powerful force of emotion in the area. And you kind of turn your head a bit back towards the dragonlings. And as you look back at the dragonlings, you can see that even though the sapphire one is injured, it, as well as the other three, are now huddled closely around the stone, the gemstone egg. And you can see emerging from this small, tiny by comparison to what you would expect a dragon egg to be. You see it falling away, chunks of it, almost like a geode stone, falling to the sides, and emerging from this tiny stone egg. You see the crystalline form of a diamond dragon. It stands up, stretching its wings, craning its neck into the upward space. All of its siblings, protectors, companions, you're not sure what the relationship is, but they all loom over this tiny, tiny dragonling form. And it looks up at all of them. You can see its eyes open, glowing with an iridescent magical glow. You can feel at once from all 5 of those dragonlings a sense of pure, unfathomable joy. The rest of you, in those moments, still kind of darkening your own souls in a way, don't see this at first. But then the entire cavernous space fills with this aura of iridescent light once again. You can feel the weight of the magic kind of surge around you. And you glance up and you see 80's attention directed back at the dragons. You yourselves look over in time to see this tiny, small, not much bigger than a house cat dragon kind of standing atop the fragments of its egg. And it just looks around innocently, kind of taking in the space. Flying just off to the side of all of you, almost hovering in space, you see Star, staring like the rest of you. Its hands kind of clutched in front of it, almost with a sense of pride at what it sees, this almost giddy-like demeanor about it. And it looks down to all of you. Bran knows that it is beaming with joy. The rest of you can almost see this faint smile. Is it a smile? It's hard to tell with dragons, but the aura that it gives off just tells you the happiness that it has. The other dragonlings stand there as if expectantly waiting for something to happen. And the diamond dragon turns its gaze towards all of you. As you all in turn lock eyes with its iridescent orbs, you all at once feel the emotions of what you had been experiencing seem to wash away, at least briefly. The cares of what you had before gone as you witness this new life emerging into the world. Violet in particular. As you look upon this being, you have a sense. You don't know where from, but you have a sense of accomplishment in what you see, as if someone is very proud of you in this moment. And the rest of you just gawk as you see this dragonling. And then it kind of almost nods, seems to kind of shake its shoulders a bit. Its wings kind of unfurl to the sides, and it looks up at all of the other dragonlings and just darts straight up into the air. There's a bit of wonkiness to its flight, to its first flight, as it kind of tumbles haphazardly in the space above. And then you swear you hear the tiniest little faintest giggle come from it before it rights itself and starts flapping its wings vigorously, looking down at all of its companions. The rest of the gemstone dragonlings turn and look at all of you. And then they bow their heads low, below their bodies, below their wings. Their eyes closed in your direction. Any of you that know animals know that when they close their eyes, they trust you. Before any of you can really think of a response to do, they lift their heads, their eyes open once more, and they dart up into the sky above until all 5 of the gemstone dragonlings leave your sight. There you sit kind of unsure about anything, taken aback by what you just witnessed. And as you sit there, Star slowly lowers himself down onto the ground beside you. And he kind of lifts himself up, bringing all of his clawed hands together, all of his feet, into the same small space underneath of his body. And he just kind of beams pridefully at all of you. What would you like to do?
Was it you that asked for help? Bai's wiping like tears from her face.
In Vi's mind, there's a knocking, a request to enter her mind, which I assume she accepts. And all at once, doesn't take very long for her to experience this outwardly, but for her it seems to last forever as she sees from a vantage point far distant some travelers moving through the woods. Not yourselves, some other bunch, somewhat indistinguishable at the distance that you are, but a group nonetheless, being chased by a couple of bears through the woods, screaming for help. And then there is a all at once sadness as what you see from your point of view, you turning away and leaving the scene. If you'd like, you could roll an insight check to see if you can understand what that meant.
It's 7.
You're not entirely sure, but there was a sorrow there, almost like if this was Starry's vision, which you believe that it probably was. Starry wanted to help, but couldn't. And so they're saddened by that. Anyone else? Please, feel free to roleplay amongst yourselves here.
I think 80 unintentionally just has a ton of tears happening from the overwhelm of everyone's emotions and then this joy, and it's just a lot of feelings. So she's got a whole lot of tears happening. But ultimately, I think right now, like Mira, you're not getting sadness from her or anything, just overwhelm.
Mira is like blocking everything. And we'll probably just start setting up camp and just kind of crawl into her bedroll as soon as she can.
I think Bryn takes a moment to kind of check back in on Vi, because I'm sure we're still kind of sitting there on the ground. It's like,
I mean, you're sitting basically in the tree stump at this point.
oh,
You haven't left the space.
well, yeah, no, I mean, we're still in the same space. Hey, you held your own very, very well out there.
Yeah, thanks. John, I was wondering, after we're done this and we're all going back home or whatever, I was wondering if I could stay with you for a week or two, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have your space there.
I don't know, after all this, and then even before this, when I was in that other place, I think it's time for me to maybe, I don't know, go somewhere else. I feel like if I lived with you for a bit, I could learn how to live off the land and survive not in the city, you know? It'd be a nice change of pace for me, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just, yeah, I'll teach you whatever it is that you want to know. Just don't run from it, wherever it is.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know if it's running or if it's letting go, you know? I don't know if I should give up that dream of fixing my parents' restaurant and, you know, living in the city. I feel like I should figure out what I want to do, you know? I don't know, it's silly. When I was taken away, it felt like I was in the sky, and it felt like I saw other places. I don't know, it sounds kind of crazy, but like places I've never seen before, and I know how to survive in the city, but I don't know, I can't keep living the way I'm living, you know? I can't get a job because of, you know, and Vi will point to her ears. And you know, and like you're doing pretty well just living on your own, and I feel like I should kind of figure out what's next for me instead of not running away from my past, but you know, just letting go of it.
You may not realize it now, but that's probably the first step, not only in the right direction, but probably the strongest decision you'll ever make. Right? That decision alone, just thinking about it, is a lot stronger than I'll ever. I'm doing okay, but I'm hiding. You saw something to where you don't have to.
I mean, you could always come with, you know?
These knees barely got me to this tree stump. Descendants only know how far it'll take me past my own home after this.
Yeah, but I know you'll miss me. Can't just leave you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I
we'll have
would miss you.
time to figure it out, but if I could stay with you for a bit, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then Vi will just start setting up pet camp.
All right.
When 80 feels that Mira has closed off their connection, any of the joy and wonder from that sight just sort of drops. And she knows that Mira kind of likes space. So I think after seeing her settle, 80 would go check on Violet too.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Or, you know, just died twice, feels like, in the last couple hours. Not great, but, you know, glad to be here, I guess.
I'm glad you're here too.
I don't know. I feel stupid. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. I don't know. We should have just listened to Jawline earlier and not come in. And we wouldn't have ever had to go through this. I don't know.
We should rest and I guess decide what we want to do in the morning.
Yeah, but you should. I think you're avoiding the question. How are you doing?
Part of me feels like I'm doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to let loose. I know something you've always wanted to try.
Yeah, but mostly I just feel terrible. Oh God.
Why? Why do you feel bad about being who you are?
Well, that felt good. Really, really good. I just feel overwhelmed.
Fair.
You know, I'm a bit of a sponge, and we've had a lot of feelings today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But how are you in all of that?
honestly, it's hard to know. When it's that strong, it's hard to separate myself from everything else.
Well, I think Mira's pissed. I'm,
Yeah.
a little upset. Jawline is.
I know.
Jawline's just being Jawline. I don't know. I can never really read him. He always is protective and kind. So after all that's washed out, you're saying you're feeling happy? Excited?
No, it's there, but I don't. I wish we hadn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't get hurt. I'm glad we came. I'm glad we seemed to help. Imagine, if we weren't here.
What was that? Jeez.
I don't know. I have no idea. We saw a sigil for help and we came to help. And honestly, I was hoping to make some money off of it, but I don't think I will. So either way, we helped some dragons, I guess.
Yeah, we did. That was incredible. I kind of feel like I need to sit down for maybe a very long time.
Yeah, same. It's a lot to process.
I'm glad you're okay. Ish.
Yeah. Surviving, as always,
Yeah. You're good at that.
I wish I was thriving, but
We take what we can get.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So as you all are sitting there, Deb, what's going through Mira's mind as she hears her companions at this moment? Because she's not that far off.
Mira is like full-blown existential crisis. She has spent the last 10 years trying to get magic and improve her own power to keep her sister safe. And since they've been out here, she's done almost nothing to help the group. Her magic that she learned at Occam has done very little. She spent a good portion of the fight today unconscious. And so she's really proud of 80, and she's so glad that 80 can be herself out here, but Mira is just completely lost.
As Mira is feeling this, I need for you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
I don't think she would pass. I'm gonna fail. I don't think she has any strength to resist anything at this point.
Okay. As this hollowness starts to set in for Mira, she tries to muster up any sense of hope within her. She looks for it. She can't find it. She feels hopeless. Her eyes, she's shaking her head, and her eyes just kind of come open despite her clenching them so tightly shut. They just come open. And she's currently turned away from her companions. And her head is looking straight at the circle of stone, earth, and plant that she saw the dragonling, the diamond dragonling, born within. And there's a glint of light there. And she doesn't know why. She doesn't know with what force this is, but she wills herself to sit up. And then, despite the pain in her body that she feels from all of the injuries that took place, despite the horrible echoes of screaming fear that still ripple in her mind from the battle with the bog hag, she stands and walks towards where the dragonling was born. She takes one step, and then another step, and then another, and another, getting more rapid with each step. And she reaches, it's not too far distant, but as she reaches the edge of this stone circle, she collapses to her knees, and there sitting within the stone circle, within the fragments of the crystalline egg that the dragon was born from, she sees this perfect teardrop-shaped diamond. She reaches her hand out and touches it. The rest of you saw Mira stand and start walking towards it. But there wasn't anything outward or any cause of concern really for it. Maybe she was just standing to get away. Maybe she couldn't rest herself. You're not entirely sure. You didn't question it at first until you see her collapse down onto her knees next to the stone. And then you start to get a sense of worry. And as some of you are about to intervene, as you're about to call out Mira's name, she reaches out her hand and she clutches this diamond, and a burst of bright, blinding white light fills this space. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. It was a roller coaster ride of craziness and I am so exceedingly happy with everyone tonight. I very much look forward to seeing what traverses next week in all of this, what transpires rather in all of this. And I think perhaps we'll have something special to show you all next week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Please join us next week. Looking forward to it.